In this video, we look at calculating the perimeter of rectangles. So the perimeter is the distance around a figure. We're going to focus specifically on rectangles and composite shapes that are made up of rectangles for now. So in order to find the perimeter, the first thing we want to do is to make sure we label any missing sides. So if there are any side lengths missing, we want to make sure that we add them in. The second thing that we want to do in order to find the perimeter, so the perimeter is the distance all the way around the outside, so we want to make sure that we add up all of the side lengths. So let's work through this example here with the rectangle that has side lengths 4 and 6. So here the perimeter is going to equal, and we just start at one side of the rectangle and add up all the values. So I'm going to jot those down. It's a good idea to write this down because we can check later to make sure we haven't missed anything. So 4 plus the next side length, which is here, 6, plus the next one here, which is 4, plus the next one over here, which is 6. So we can go ahead and add all of those together. Now before we do that, some of you might recognize that there are actually 2 of these 4s. So some of you might say that's the same as 2 times 4. You don't have to do this. If you recognize that and you want to take a little bit of a shortcut, you're more than welcome to do that. So 2 times 4 plus 2 times 6, so you could do that. So again, it doesn't matter which way you do this, whether you do it this way or this way, you'll get the same answer. So 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 4 more is 14, plus 6 more is 20. And again, we should include the units here. This is measured in centimeters. And just to show you that we get the same answer going this other way, 2 times 4 gives us 8, 2 times 6 gives us 12, 8 plus 12 gives us 20. So if you want to take a shortcut and you're comfortable with that, then by all means go ahead. If not, then just stick with the tried and true method of adding up as you go along the outside. So we'll call that example number 1. Let's look now at example number 2. So in this rectangle, you'll notice that we have a length of 7 and a width of 3. We want to find the perimeter. Now just a reminder, the perimeter is the distance all the way around this figure. So all the way around, so not just those 2 sides, but we need to include these 2 sides as well. So in order to do that, our first thing to do is to label any missing side lengths. So let's go ahead and do that. We know that this side here is 7. It starts here and finishes here. If you look up here, this side here also has to be the same length. So I'm going to label that so we don't miss it later on. And we can do the same thing down here. We know that this side is 3 centimeters. And this side on the opposite side of the rectangle is also 3 centimeters. So let's go ahead and label that as 3 centimeters. And now we can again find the perimeter. So the perimeter is the distance all the way around the rectangle. I'm going to start somewhere, it doesn't matter where. I like to put a little check mark or a little line or something to indicate where I've started so I know when I'm back at the beginning. Not so critical for rectangles, but for other shapes that becomes important. So 3 plus this 7 over here plus the 3 over here plus the last one here is 7, and then we're back to the beginning. So that's as far as we need to go. 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 3 more is 13. 13 plus 7 gives us a total of 20. Just so happens that both of these rectangles both had a perimeter of 20 centimeters. So that's how we can find the perimeter of rectangles if all of the sides are labeled. If they're not all labeled, we label them like we did in example number 2, and we go from there. Let's look now at the perimeter of compound shapes. So a compound shape is just a shape that's made up of multiple shapes. And for now, we're going to focus on rectangles. So let's have a look at this one here. Let's see here. We can do our example. So this would be example 3, I guess, is where we're at. Example number 3. And again, the perimeter is the distance all the way around the outside. So I'm going to start with this step here. Perimeter, we're going to start here. I'm going to start with this 10-sided, this length of 10 centimeters on this side. So that'll be my first one. So that's 10 centimeters plus the next side, which is this one here at 2 centimeters. Plus the next one, which is over here at 7 centimeters. So I'm just going to jot that down. Plus this one here, which is 8 centimeters. plus the 3 centimeters over here plus this last side of 10 centimeters. You can see we're right back where we started, so that's the last side that we need to do. And sometimes what I like to do, if I'm not sure I got all of them, is just count how many sides there were. So I'll just do that by putting some check marks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got them all. So now you can go to your calculator and add those all up, or just add them all up by starting at the left and working to the right. 10 plus 2 is 12, plus 7 more is 19. 19 and 8 would give us 27, plus 3 more would give us 30, plus 10 more should give us a total of 40 centimeters. So the perimeter of that shape was 40 centimeters. Now I want to show you a slightly different example. The shape is the same actually, but we have different information, and I want to show you how to deal with these questions where we have some different information. So this will be example number 4. Again, we want to make sure we add up all of the side lengths around the outside. So in order to do that, we're just going to figure out what all the side lengths are. You can see that I have some side lengths. I've got this one, this one, this one, and this one. But I don't know what the side length is here at the top, or even this side length right here. So we're going to figure those out first. So let's start with the one at the top, and I'll just change the pen color here. We know that this distance from here over to here is 25 centimeters. We also know that this distance from here over to here is 20 centimeters. This distance here needs to make up the rest of that 25. So we know that it's 20 from here over to here, and it needs to be 25 all the way across. So this distance up here needs to be 25, the whole distance, minus the 20 that we have, which is equal to 5 centimeters. So I'm going to put that in here so we don't forget when we find the perimeter. Now let's find this other check mark here. We're going to use the same kind of logic that we did. The distance, let me change the pen color again. The distance from the top to the bottom is 25 centimeters. And this doesn't go, this part right here doesn't go from the top to the bottom. It goes almost to the bottom, but it's 3 centimeters short of going to the bottom. So we know that this distance is 3 centimeters. That means that this distance in here needs to be the whole length, which is 25, minus the 3 centimeters. 25 minus 3 gives us 22 centimeters. So again, we can label that. I'll just try to stick it in here so we don't lose it as we're working through. And now the perimeter is just all of the side lengths added together. So I'm going to start right here with the 25 centimeters. 25 plus this one here, which is 5, plus this one over here, which we said was 22, plus this one over here, which is 20, plus the 3, plus the 25 down here. That's the last one. And if we want to make sure we can count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we've got them all. Now we just add those together, and that'll give us our perimeter. So 25 plus 5 gives us 30, plus 22 gives us 52, plus another 20 gives us 72, plus another 3 is 75, plus 25 gives us 100 centimeters. So that's how we can find the perimeter of just rectangles and compound shapes. The first thing we need to do is to make sure we have the diagram completely labeled, and then we just add up the distances or the lengths around the outside.